welcome to another episode of Nerdy Movie News Roundup, the show where we round up all of the latest news in the world of nerdy movies. So we have a decent amount of stuff to talk about today, so let's just get right into it. First up, we got a trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, or more simply, Mission Impossible 7, I believe. This is an interesting trailer because I feel like it's not a great trailer. like, it feels like an older trailer before trailers really started getting good and like well thought out, because it really is just a bunch of it feels like a montage of clips from the movie thrown together under this weird score that doesn't feel Mission Impossible. It's weird. So I don't think the trailer is very well constructed. That being said, pretty much everything that I saw in the trailer looks great. I think the action looks fantastic. You got Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, all the people that you'd want to come back are here. Rebecca Ferguson, and then we get Vanessa Kirby, Haley Atwell. And who's the other? Somebody else that was in here that was exciting. I'm forgetting. My mind is blinking. But the new cast looks great, and and Tom Cruise is a lunatic jumping off of a cliff. So all the footage looks great, but I just don't think it's a very well constructed trailer. But either way, I mean, this is just one of my most anticipated movies in general. I think it's so weird because like Mission Impossible was fine. I think the first two movies were, the first one was fine, I guess. The second was really bad. Then the third one was good, and 4 was quite good. And then they just decided to make, like, the best action movie ever made with 5. And then they decided to do it again with 6. So, Mission Impossible has officially just become just a franchise that, yeah, I'm going to look forward to the next one. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the trailer down below. Then we also got a trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. This is the a second trailer, the official trailer. And yeah, I think this movie looks quite good. It definitely looks more like Ragnarok, but I'm hoping for, and I think we're gonna get it. I'm hoping for a more earnest, in some ways, and more emotionally compelling film out of Thor: Love and Thunder, because I did think that while Thor Ragnarok was very funny, it wasn't. It just didn't compel me very much. And I think with some of the potential with the Jane Foster Thor character and Gore the God Butcher, who looks awesome, by the way. I know there's still a bunch of people who are like, oh, it doesn't look like the version from the comic books. It looks different. I don't care personally. I've never even read any of the comic books that Gore the God Butcher is in, so. It just looks like Christian Bale putting on an amazing performance. Cool, sign me up for that. I don't care that it doesn't look like the comic books. But yeah, it looks really funny. I like the idea of Thor going on a self-discovering journey or whatever. And then from what I've heard about Gore the God Butcher, and from what I know about Jane Foster, I think this could end up being a great film. Just aside from it being very funny with that awesome Taika Waititi humor. But then, yeah, I guess just to talk specifically about the trailer itself, I think obviously, yeah, Gore looks awesome. I like seeing Thor kind of seeming very desperate and talking to Jane. How clearly he's been way more hung up over the breakup than she has. So that's really funny and interesting. I think there was this really dope scene. There was this dope bit where Jane, she doesn't throw Mjolnir, but she, shoots out the fragments of Mjolnir and then, summons them back together. That was awesome. I love the way they're using, color grading, where there's, a bit in the trailer where it seems like Thor is about to fight Gore, and it's in black and white. And I'm going to be very curious to see what that's all about. is that just like a stylistic choice, or are they gonna go to like? Is this gonna be a multiverse situation? Are they gonna go to another universe or something where it's black and white? I don't know. It all looks very fascinating to me, but or that whole thing is fascinating to me. And but yeah, overall, I just think it was a really good trailer. Chris Hemsworth, he looks. I don't. How does he keep on getting bigger? I don't understand. Like, I know he's definitely taking copious amounts of steroids, but how? Still, he looks insane. In that shirtless scene, or clothless scene, I guess we could call it. But yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder looks cool. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. And then we're gonna get more into more Star Wars stuff later on in the video, but quickly, since this is the trailer section of the show, Andor he got a teaser trailer, or the show got a teaser trailer. Now, this is a show that I find to be very strange. And like it's just one of those things that I look at and I'm just like, really? You're making an Andor show. But yes, they are. And I think the trailer actually looks pretty good. It looks kind of more grim and gritty, kind of like Rogue, the tone that Rogue One was going for. I like that that we're seeing like the rebellion, and mainly like the dialogue coming from Cassian Andor. I like that it feels a lot more like a like a rebellion that you would see kind of like in real life, where he's talking about how the Empire are a bunch of like fat cats, and they're fat and wealthy, and there's because I'm trying to remember. I don't think like in the original trilogy that was necessarily. I don't know if I can't remember if the rebellion had dialogue like that, and I find that to be like super interesting, and it kind of makes it seem a bit more authentic, I think. So I really like that bit of it. We didn't get too much about what the actual story of the show is going to be, but I imagine that it's going to deal with Cassian Andor being a rebel soldier, and he's going to do kind of the more like morally questionable aspects of the rebellion. He's probably going to assassinate people and stuff, and I guess it could be interesting to explore that, because I remember that was one of the things that they talked about Rogue One, but I don't think they really achieved exploring the darker side of the rebellion in Rogue One, because it's like, I think they showed Cassian Andor like killing a guy, and they were like, oh, look at this is the dark side of the rebellion, oh, it's so morally gray, but it's like, I mean, he just killed a guy. I don't know. I feel like the Jedi kill people, don't they? I don't know, but hopefully the show goes a little farther, and it's gonna be interesting to see also, because I think they announced that the show is gonna be 12 episodes long. But so Boba Fett gets 6 episodes. Boba Fett, what a fan favorite Star Wars character, Boba Fett, gets 6 episodes for his season of television. Cassian Andor, everyone's favorite Star Wars character, gets 12. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm glad to see it, because I think they've been doing this like 6 max at the maximum 9 episodes of television, and it's one of those things where it's like, I'd like to see like a fuller season of television. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so hopefully it'll be good, and I mean, hopefully it's good and not well drawn out, because I think the funny thing is that it's like, yeah, Boba Fett is only 6 episodes, but 6 episodes of a mediocre television is fine for me, because I'm like, okay, I watched it. It is what it is. If I had to endure like 12 episodes of Boba Fett, I don't know how well that would have gone. But yeah, Andor, let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Are you excited for the show? All right, let's get into our first news story. So this is a bit of a continuation from last week, where we talked about how Daredevil is officially getting a show on Disney Plus, and there was an excerpt from the Hollywood Reporter that is kind of insinuating that, or I guess confirming that, this will in fact be a continuation of the Netflix show and not a reboot. So this, or I guess it's coming from Variety. I miswrote that. Okay, and it reads as this. Matt Corman and Chris Ord have been tapped to write and exec produce a series that will be notable for being the first of the Netflix Marvel shows to get a new but continued series, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. So, it is coming from The Hollywood Reporter, but I got that specific excerpt from Variety. Sorry, my throat is parched. I must drink water. Oh my god. You gotta stay hydrated, guys. Support it. But yeah, so I mean, Variety is straight up saying that it's going to be a continuation of the Netflix show. Which I am both, I continue to be concerned. I mean, not only, look, let me just, I'll just say this. I've loved a couple of the Marvel Netflix shows. And but the other ones have either been solid, like I love WandaVision, I love Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think Moon Knight is solid. I don't love it as much as the first two. And in my opinion, like What If and Loki and Hawkeye are just kind of like swimming at the bottom in a pool of mediocrity. So, and even with me loving two of the shows, they're not as good as Daredevil. They're just not. So, and in all fairness, I don't think in general, and even in the movies, I don't think Marvel Studios, I don't think they've made anything as good as Daredevil. Like, Daredevil is just on a higher level of excellence. And so, like, yeah, obviously, like, I'm concerned of them touching Daredevil and specifically touching that specific iteration of the character. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. But I did just want to point out that I think last week I was talking about whether, is it going to be a continuation or is it going to be its own thing? Is this just going to be, is Matt Murdock just a variant of the Matt Murdock in the Netflix series? Like, how is that all going to work? But Variety is saying that it is a continuation. And it should be noted that it is the first of the Netflix series to be a continuation. So, is that suggesting that we're also going to get more revivals? Are we going to get the Iron Fist revival that everybody's clamoring for? We'll see. But yeah, next story. Oh, I did not format this properly. Give me just 1 second here. Okay, there we go. Look, it's me. It's me. I'm here. Okay, so this is interesting. Just look at this tweet real quick. So, it says this. File this under strange. An outside survey company polling Disney Plus patrons regarding upcoming projects used John Krasinski and Emily Blunt for the Fantastic Four. Reed is even shaven in a tweaked suit with hair at his temples. Wishful thinking or something more. So, to be clear, this was a poll made by hired by Disney, to be fair. Polling Disney Plus subscribers about like projects that they're anticipating. And you can see there's Armor Wars, there's Ms. Marvel, and there's Spider-Man Freshman Year. Now, from what I understand, that Fantastic Four image is fan-made. And there are a couple of possibilities here. I mean, first of all, they already announced that there's a Fantastic Four movie. And they've already announced that there's an Armor Wars and a Ms. Marvel and a Freshman Year project. So these are announced projects, right? But we don't know who's playing them. And there are two possibilities here. Either the polling company made a mistake, which isn't the most ridiculous thing that a polling company wouldn't necessarily know exactly the intricacies of the MCU. But surely Disney saw this before they put it out. Like, I don't know. Like, surely somebody who knows the inner workings of the MCU would have seen this before putting it out. But again, maybe not. Maybe this is something that's just relegated to, like, to people who don't necessarily pay too close attention to the MCU and didn't necessarily blink when they saw John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. But at the same time, are the people in charge of this stuff really that like are they really don't have the enough awareness of Marvel to know that this is incorrect if it is incorrect? I don't know. Maybe, but then on the other hand, maybe this is some kind of elaborate scheme to like maybe they already have John Krasinski and Emily Blunt signed on to play these characters, and they just want to stir up fan excitement. I mean, maybe I don't know. Here's the thing. Either way, I wouldn't take this as too much of. I wouldn't really take this as anything like. Maybe it will lead to something, but also it's very possible that it won't. That it won't lead to anything. So I wouldn't bet any money on this. I wouldn't put too much stock on this, but on this specifically. But I mean, he John Krasinski obviously did pop up in Doctor Strange. So listen, you're not crazy for thinking that John Krasinski is going to be Reed Richards, but I wouldn't put too much stock in this. You can put it as a pile of the evidence, of the overall evidence, but I wouldn't necessarily put too much stock in this. Because it is kind of a weird situation. Okay. Next up. There's apparently a Zuko film in development. This is coming from Comic Book Reporter. According to Avatar News, Paramount and Avatar Studios are currently developing 2 Avatar The Last Airbender related projects. The first is a prequel film, and the second is an animated feature film revolving around Prince Zuko. Regarding the prequel, it is currently unknown how far back in the Four Nations history the show will explore, and, Okay, I'm not sure exactly. I'm noticing Now, to be clear, I copy and pasted this, so there is a bit of a bit of a mistyping here, because the prequel project is initially stated as being a film, and now it's saying that it's a show, but I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But the Four Nations history, the show will explore and how connected it will be to the animated series. Details concerning the Zuko-centric film are similarly scarce. So, basically, it is being reported that there will be some kind of Zuko film and also some kind of prequel project. As far as the prequel project, who knows? I mean, it could be anything really. Maybe it'll be like the Avatar Kyoshi project that was rumored. That could be cool. And then we're also going to be getting a Zuko project. I'd personally really like to see like a Zuko movie that explores the hanging thread left at the end of the series with Zuko going out to find his mom. I think that could be super super cool. But either way, I mean, whatever they decide to do, I definitely like to see more Zuko. I think he's one of the better characters in the entire franchise. So yeah, I'd definitely be interested in this. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Next up, it looks like we're going to be getting a Horizon Zero Dawn show on Netflix. This is coming from Variety. Oops. Okay. The Horizon Zero Dawn series, based on the popular video games where robotic dinosaurs from a post-apocalyptic America, is in early development at Netflix, while Gran Turismo, a racing series, hasn't landed a distributor yet and is also in early development. So, we're also getting a Gran Turismo series. I would be lying to you if I cared about the Gran Turismo series. No offense to the game or anybody that plays them, but it's a racing game. It's like I don't think there's even a story in the Gran Turismo game, so it's gonna be its own thing either way. It would be like if they made like an NBA 2K movie. It's like, I guess, but at the end of the day, you're just making an NBA movie. It's not an NBA 2K movie. So that's kind of my feelings on that. But as far as Horizon Zero Dawn, I have played that game, and it's pretty great. And like I don't think that the narrative of it, like the story that's being told, I don't think it's quite on the level of like like a Last of Us or like a God of War, but it's still really good. And I think what is pretty fantastic about the game is its world building. I think the world that they create is super fascinating, and definitely one of the things that kept me wanting to explore and read into all the little nuggets of lore that you get as you like find items and stuff and explore. And it is just this fascinating post-apocalyptic world where the people in it are tribalistic, and they feel kind of almost like Native Americans in a way. But then that's contrasted by these futuristic robotic dinosaurs, and that contrast is ultra fascinating, and is what made me constantly wonder, like, what happened here, how did it become this way. And yeah, and that aspect of the game is super strong, and the narrative on top of it is still quite good. And I really love the main character, Aloy. You can see her there. That's the character that you play as. I think she's awesome. And yeah, I will say I kind of would have wanted a movie of Horizon Zero Dawn, just because, like, this is not going to be a cheap show to make, and I don't even know if you necessarily can capture, or yeah, I guess just capture the scale of the game properly in a show with a television budget. And even if you were able to, I'd still, I don't know. I want to see this on the big screen personally, but hopefully it's good. Hopefully they're able to do it. And Netflix, they do make pretty good series, right? I mean, Stranger Things and Squid Game and whatnot, Arcane. Actually, now that I think about it, they probably have the best track record when it comes to, like, video game adaptations, because I think Castlevania, I haven't seen it, but people love, and The Witcher, I personally don't like, but people do love The Witcher show, so Netflix actually seems to be pretty decent when it comes to video game adaptations. So yeah, hopefully this is good. I love the first game. I haven't played the second one, but they definitely have good source material to work with. All right, next story. We have some set photos for Blue Beetle. This is, of course, a movie that was originally being made for HBO Max, and then it kind of got turned into a proper, like, theatrical released film, which is super cool. And we have some set photos of the costume. So this is the first one. Of course, he's being played by Jolo Maridueña. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And I think he's great. I have no real basis for this, because obviously I haven't seen anything from the movie, but he's great in Cobra Kai, and I think he is going to end up being DC's Tom Holland. I think people are going to fall in love with him in this role. I just believe that to be true, but obviously I haven't seen any of the movie, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. Okay, so we have him there. I think he looks awesome in it. Here we have him with the head covered. And yeah, I think this suit looks really cool, and I think people should take into account the fact that these aren't official, like, photos. These are, somebody took this on their iPhone probably, and it looks awesome. And there he is, like that, and that, like, a more of a cool superhero stance. He looks cool there. There he is under an umbrella. Probably trying to keep cool, because I assume it's very hot under those suits. Here he is, presumably in a scene where he crashes into a car or something. And here he is sitting on the car. So I think the suit looks awesome. I would imagine that this isn't even how it's going to look in the movie. Like, I imagine there's going to be touches of CGI, because doesn't he have like claws or something, or like spider legs? I also think that the suit is like, it's like an alien sort of suit that kind of transforms into different things, right? Like, I think it'll, like, transform into a gun when he wants to shoot stuff, I think, from what I remember in, like, cartoons and stuff. So yeah, I assume that the suit is probably going to look even better than this in the actual movie, due to, like, the CGI touch-ups and whatnot. But even on set, when somebody takes a picture of it with their iPhone, it looks awesome. So yeah, this looks cool. All right, let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. All right, going on to Star Wars Celebration stuff. Looks like The Mandalorian has Season 3 has a release window. It's coming from Screen Rant. Season 3 wrapped filming just a few months ago. And it was recently confirmed that that Mando and Grogu will return in February 2023. Yeah, that makes sense. This year we're getting Kenobi and then Andor, so it makes sense that this isn't going to come until 2023. When was season 2? I want to say that was in 2021, right? So I think we'll have gone through all of 2022 without Mandalorian, which is a little surprising. But I mean, honestly, this is probably fine because I think Mandalorian is. I mean, it does. I mean, they've only done 2 shows, but it's easily the best one that they've done so far. So I think making fans hunger for it a little bit is probably going to be good for it. Okay. Next up, Indiana Jones 5. We got our first look. Look, it's Indiana Jones. It's crusty, broken Harrison Ford. He's standing on a thing. Aren't you excited? I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never seen an Indiana Jones movie except for the 4th one, the bad one that everybody hates. That is the only Indiana Jones piece of media that I've ever consumed. So I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I'm like super excited about this movie because I'm not. But I assume this makes Indiana Jones fans excited. I don't know. He's standing on a thing. Good for him and good for you guys, I suppose. All right, next up. We got a logo and a synopsis for Star Wars Skeleton Crew. So if you remember, we reported that John Watts, he's the guy who he directed all of the MCU Spider-Man movies. So the ones with Tom Holland. And he was set to direct the Fantastic Four movie, but he decided that he didn't want to do that anymore, and people were wondering, like, oh, well, why? What's the other project that he was doing instead of Fantastic Four? And that, then we found out that he left because he wanted to do a Star Wars show, and this is apparently it. So it's called Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and this is coming from comicbook.com. Now we know what Spider-Man No Way Home director John Watts' mystery project will be titled. Watts and Chris Ford took the stage to reveal some cool concept art from the series that featured 4 kids next to a starship, and that the series will be titled Star Wars Skeleton Crew. The pair then revealed that Jude Law has been cast in a key role in the series. Star Wars Skeleton Crew will take place during the same timeline as The Mandalorian and will be about a group of 10-year-old kids who get lost in the Star Wars universe. You would think that from the sounds of the plot that the series would be a kids show, but Watts says, not too fast. Even though the series is about kids, it isn't a kids show, the director adds. It stars 4 kids, but it's not a kids show. Now this ain't your grandpappy's Star Wars. This is gonna be hardcore, or something. Yeah, honestly, I think this sounds pretty fun. I think that it makes sense that you would get a guy like John Watts to do this because, he worked pretty well with making his Spider-Man movies that are very, sort of like these John Hughes style kid high school movies. And I think it makes sense that you'd get him to make sort of this more Goonies-esque type of thing. And just overall, I think this is an interesting project for Star Wars. I think my main thing with Star Wars is that I want them to do something different because I'm kind of I don't really want. I'm sick of the rebellion and the empire and the wars or whatever. Like I want something else other than that. But when I say that, I don't really know what that is. Like I want it to be given to me. I want it to be shown to me what that different thing is. That still feels like Star Wars. So this sounds interesting. And I'll be honest, when I initially heard the description from the rumors, I was like, ugh, I don't want. There's gonna be about like Jedi younglings or something, but apparently it's not. It's just random kids. So I'm definitely gonna be intrigued to see what this is, and if they can kind of capture that Stranger Things magic, the Goonies-esque magic, that could be cool. So we'll see how this turns out, and yeah, so that was actually our last story of the week. Um, yeah, so let's get into what I've been watching. Now, I do want to clarify, actually. I haven't seen, I have not watched the first two episodes of Kenobi, nor have I started watching Stranger Things 4 yet. The main reason for that is I, before I watch Kenobi, okay, just to set the ground here, I have been trying to watch Star Wars in chronological order and like all of Star Wars. So I'm currently going through the Clone Wars, and I'm on the last season of the Clone Wars, where you can watch it concurrently with Revenge of the Sith, and it kind of works. So I'm currently doing that. So I don't want to watch Kenobi until after I've done that. I've been pondering, should I wait and watch The Bad Batch and then play Jedi Fallen Order before watching Kenobi? Because I think those are technically before so I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna do all of that, but I definitely want to finish watching season 7 of the Clone Wars as well as Revenge of the Sith before jumping into Kenobi, and so I'm trying to speed through that, and so I also just haven't started watching Stranger Things 4 either. So that's why I'm not talking about those on this show. Most likely I'll at least have seen Stranger Things 4 probably by next show if I do decide that I want to watch The Bad Batch and play Fallen Order before Kenobi. So there's all of that. Either way, I did watch 2 movies this week, so we'll talk about that. First up, I watched Men. This is a movie directed by Alex Garland. He previously made Ex Machina and Annihilation. Now, those are 2 movies that I watched Ex Machina, I think when I was like 14 or something, and I thought it was interesting, but I think I was probably too stupid to really understand it. And then I watched Annihilation when I was a little older, and I think I was definitely too stupid to understand it, even though I don't think I had much of an excuse. This one, I think is his movie that's most connected with me because I feel like I just understood it. Now, it is a horror movie, and I don't want to go too deep into it because it's one of those movies that I feel like you should just go in and experience. Now, I will give the warning that it is very violent and disturbing and just kind of gross. Like there's some imagery in this movie that I don't think I would have ever expected to see in a movie. Like there's just a thing that happens. I think people, when I say the thing, I think you know what I mean. And I was like, I'm watching this in a movie theater right now. Like I don't think I've ever had this in a movie where I'm eating my popcorn and things starts happening and I have to I stop eating my popcorn because it's just so gross and disturbing. But that being said, I quite enjoyed it. I think that I think while it is very abstract and there's a lot of this movie that is that a lot of it is metaphors and symbolism of what you're watching on screen. I don't think it's literally happening. And so if you're if you're someone who doesn't like an abstract movie who wants to have it all revealed to you at some point, then you might not watch it. But if you just kind of want to watch what's essentially I feel like a film version of a painting, that's and not that there isn't a narrative, but where a lot of it is really open up to your interpretation and gathering what you can take from it. If that's something that you're into, I think Men is a really great version of that. The main actress here, Jessie Buckley, I think she's fantastic. She's slowly turning into one of my favorite actresses. I just every time she pops up in something, I'm like, oh, it's her, and she always gives a fantastic performance. So she definitely carries this movie. But yeah, don't look into it too much. The only thing I'll say is that if you don't like really disturbing and gross stuff, then maybe avoid it. But I think it's cool. It's good to just go into this movie and experience it, without having what it's about imprinted in your mind already. But yeah, next up, I also watched Top Gun Maverick. I also watched the first Top Gun this week, and the first Top Gun is pretty good, and Top Gun Maverick is also really good. It is, I think if you watched the first Top Gun, and it's like one of your favorite movies of all time, then I think you're gonna love Top Gun Maverick because it very much hits on the nostalgia of the first Top Gun, and but I think and I think honestly it's probably better than the first Top Gun in terms of the emotion and the narrative. Um, and then I mean what they do with the plane stuff is absolutely incredible. I mean I don't know if all of it is real, but I know that a lot of it is real. I know that Tom Cruise actually did learn how to fly these planes. Um, I don't know if any of the other cast learned, but I believe I think I read somewhere that the other members of the cast, they at the very least like were sitting in the plane while like it was remote controlled by like a professional. So I know that they actually flew in planes, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, I mean the aerial stuff is absolutely incredible, and one of those things that's like you gotta watch this in a movie theater, like just to experience it. Sound design as well is incredible, and yeah, and just a decent story and a lot of emotion as well. Like surprising amount of emotion. I thought like there were moments where I definitely got choked up. And yeah, so Top Gun Maverick. I'm again. I'm not like I only watched the first Top Gun a couple of days ago, so I'm watching it in 2022. It doesn't hold up as this amazing thing anymore, unfortunately. So, and a lot of this movie definitely relies, I think, on you loving the first Top Gun. So, I don't think I don't think this movie hit me as much as it's gonna hit a lot of hardcore Top Gun fans. But even with that being the case, it's still a really solid movie, and definitely one that you should watch in the movie theaters. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode of Nerdy Movie News Roundup. Sorry that I didn't get a chance that I haven't talked. I didn't get to talk about Stranger Things 4 or Obi-Wan, but I should be talking about it next week, and I'm gonna try and get like standalone reviews done for those as well. So let me know what you think about any and all of those things in the comments down below. And goodbye. I love you.